Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Good morning, everybody. Lake Superior. What up, boo? Good morning. Thanks for being here for this transmission. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. I hope your job search is going well. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that gift. I'm so grateful. Glad you're here. Good energy to start this reading. Ooh. So I've been getting lots of signs for this reading, but not at first. I wanted to be 100% sure because I'm still learning. I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to reading energy. I am a childhood psychic, but I repressed my gift for a long time, so I'm kind of like, a little behind in the development of it. What's on the menu today, Lake Superior? Well, I'm going to tap into Charlie Kirk's energy. There was this, he passed in September, so I've had, some time to really like marinate because it was really hard to know if he was crossed over or not. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not even 100% sure today that he's crossed over, but because there is like this timeline where he didn't cross over, where he may be in like witness protection or something like that. But I just can't tell if it's my timeline. I think it's kind of like going back and forth like this, boom, boom, boom. I never knew he was until after. Yeah, me too. I had seen him, once in a while on, just come up on my feed. But I just, I'm not into politics like that, so I wasn't really like diving in that way. And I will say that what I did watch, when I watched him debate other people, I think that what I feel is when someone is sitting up on a pedestal or like a podium with a microphone and they're in the yard, yeah, and they're in the schoolyard, and I'm from Rhode Island, and they're used to being in the public eye and speaking publicly, and Charlie had a photographic memory, which is a psychic ability, so that made him have an extra air of confidence because he could remember facts and he could remember stats, and he had such a strong, oh, thank you, and he had such a strong opinion because he was so evangelical in his beliefs. And so it kind of made me feel like he was clickbait in a way, people were drawn to debate with him because he spoke so confidently about his beliefs. But at the same time, here he is on this podium, with this extrasensory perception or gift, and kind of yielding it in a way that was, I don't know, Spirit said forbidden. When you are given there's many psychic gifts, and everybody has one, and everybody might not be using it, or it might not be activated, or if they, some people have it activated and they're not using it responsibly, or they're not using it to be of service. They're using it for, their own selfish gain. Everybody has an electromagnetic field. Everybody has a soul. And when your body dies, when your vessel dies, and you cross over, whatever your gift is will be related to your soul. And so the way that we label it is psychic, but that's just a word that we've created to explain extrasensory phenomenon. And he had a photographic memory, and that's absolutely 100% a spiritual gift. Okay. Spirit said forbidden. Maybe the way he was using it kind of felt like everyone else is at a disadvantage when it comes to debating him, because not everyone has the ability far. He said far, bam. Not everyone has the ability to do that and to come with stats and to speak so fluidly in front of people. So you get a lot of, and that's another thing about debating. Spirit always says a belief is a thought you keep thinking. And just because he had such strong beliefs and was confident in speaking about them doesn't mean that he's right. It doesn't mean that he is the all-knowing person. So I did get a vibe about him while he was here that did seem a little, it can come off a little arrogant. Can it come off a little like know-it-all? Yeah. And he's so young. He's 10 years younger than me. I'm 42. Oh, happy birthday, Susie. Happy birthday. Thanks for sharing your birthday morning with me. I appreciate you. So I wasn't 100% convinced that he had crossed over, but Spirit was like, they claim that he has. And so if they want to say that he's crossed over, then I'm not breaking the law of free will in that way, because I'm going on the belief that they're giving us that he has crossed over. And so I was like, okay, because you can't tap into people's energy without their permission if they're still around. So I'm 42. Logos. Spirit always says logos. The logos. The logos. It's kind of like a word for the blueprint. I don't know why that came up, but so we're gonna tap into his energy because he's crossed over, right? If he's crossed over, then we can talk to him, right? Deviation. Silver bullet. Yes. So, my name is Patience. I'm your favorite spirit medium, host of Spirit News on all major platforms. If you like more podcast style, episode based, more segmented, topic based, metaphysical knowledge and information, you can go to Spirit News, where we bring you higher perspectives of linear views, and we take all the knowledge and the spirit nuggets that our own spirit team has given us, and we put it there in a more structured format. If you're on your spiritual journey and you want to know you're not alone, and we're going through it too, and we've taken the time to just gather our observations and just put them there for you so you can have an easier time adjusting to the shift. Okay. Here on our YouTube and on our TikTok, we do spiritual and psychic development with our very own spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle, Mish, Maribel, and Mantis, my past, present, future, and archangel. Everyone has a spirit team. Thank you, Lake Superior. Everyone has a spirit team that represent the same things. You are the present. You have a future and a past spirit guide that help regulate your body, help regulate your frequency. They help you to ascend. They help you to guide you gently with love and kindness towards your highest potential. And we're on that journey, and We're just documenting all of the things for you, okay? We're learning the language of spirit. We're political violence. Spirit just sad. Political damn violence. Okay. All right. Charlie's ready. He's like, shut up. Just speak already. He's a little impatient. Okay, so a couple of things I was getting. I got the song Jericho by Aniko. Aniko. A self-made young lady who blew up on TikTok because she's very talented. She has a song called Jericho. I woke up with that in my head thinking about Charlie. You are the best. Oh, thank you, Lake Superior. I hope you're well because you look tired. Well, I've been working hard, and yeah, I am tired. But I'm reliable. I'm here every weekend. We post every weekend for you every Saturday and Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Okay? We gather all our observations, and doing these readings gives me energy. I love it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. So, she has a song called Jericho, which, you know what? I just got this little tinge in my mind to look up Jericho. Jericho is a city in the West Bank, Palestine, and the capital of the Jericho Governorate. The city is located in Jordan Valley, but I think it's more about the story of Jericho. Where is Jericho in the Bible? The first city conquered by the Israelites under Joshua, known for its miraculously falling walls after a unique march and shout symbolizing faith in God's power. It's also an ancient, fertile oasis, city of palm trees, where Jesus, or Yeshua, performed miracles, including healing blind Bartimaeus and encountering Zacchaeus, highlighting themes of healing, repentance, and divine compassion in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, the most famous story involves God instructing Joshua to have Israelite priests and soldiers march around the heavily fortified city for 6 days and seven nights. On the seventh day, blowing trumpets and shouting, causing the walls to collapse. Faith and obedience. This event demonstrated God's power and necessity of faith and obedience even when instructions seemed illogical. Heart attack, Spirit says. Rahab, a prostitute, aided the Israelite spies and was saved, becoming an ancestor of Yeshua, illustrating God's inclusion and redemption. Jericho symbolizes the earthly or material realm, in contrast to Jerusalem, a place where spiritual encounters lead to profound change. So I was getting that, and then her song is called Jericho. I'm high, I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm a luminaire now, make moves, start waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the Greys. They want a cosign. Artificially intelligent new AI. I'm your future, past, present. I'm the fine line. So that's interesting. I'm the missing link of this illusion. I'm not really here. I'm an intrusion. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's when I got the thought of the invasion of the body snatchers. Presumably, Spirit says, because there's like this shift in the characters of this story, probably Spirit says, where they like change the way they look. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this. If you go and you look at past pictures of Charlie Kirk, he looks so different. And I even put a picture of him in the past for the thumbnail because I wanted to see if AI would change anything, but nothing really changed. But what was interesting is like this slow progression into and morphine into like this different looking person. And the same for Erica Kirk. But I'm not going to get into Erica Kirk's energy too much because I can't tap into her energy. But she does exhibit strange behavior compared to before. And I've watched some videos of her before this shift and after. And it is unusual. And it reminds me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is from 1974, but it essentially characterizes otherworldly parasitic beings that invade your body and they like take over your body, and you would never know other than the very like monotone kind of way they show up, and very like lackluster, not full of personality. So I was like, interesting. And Spirit just said presumably and probably. So there's something about that. Okay. There's something about that. And he was born October 14th, 1993. And it specifically says assassinated. He was assassinated September 10th, 2025. Fish. Spirit just said fish. Which reminds me of Yeshua. It says that he was evangelical, which to me is a kind of a very intense belief system that's very strict and very like rigid. No gay marriage, no divorce, no abortions or schmishmortions, or I don't know if I can say that, but very like, cut and dry. Like it's black or white. And I just don't believe that that's how it is. I just don't believe that's how it is. But he believed that. He was assassinated in Utah, which is known to be have a very Mormon outlook of religion. I'm just along for the ride. Speak for yourself. They walk in and out, not always present and driving the vehicle. Only being I welcome in holds host to being is the most high. Absolutely. Yeah, so use as an avatar. Yeah, possibly. Definitely possibly. Just like the entertainment industry, we know that a lot of artists like to make alter egos, and when they're performing they become that alter ego. I think Beyonce is like the greatest example of that, where she admittedly says that when she turns into Sasha Fierce, she feels something come into her, and we have video evidence of her switching during a dance, when she's just kind of let go of the driver's wheel, of the steering wheel, and just kind of let whatever's she invited in to kind of like take over her. And perhaps, they believe that makes them better at what they do. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that when it comes to extreme religious beliefs, there's a really thin line. And it's kind of like what Aniko says in the song Jericho. She says, I'm your future, past and present. I'm the fine line. So what's the line? You're doing you have religious beliefs, and you have certain religious rituals that you possibly partake in, that call in the Holy Spirit by somebody that you don't know what they've done, where they've been. You don't know their spiritual authority. You don't know what they do behind closed doors, but you give them the power to call in the Holy Spirit and then seal the Holy Spirit within you. Just stuff like that is really dangerous. It's really dangerous. So you might think that, oh, my priest or the father that I go to is ordained, and they have spiritual authority to call in the Holy Spirit. So do you. Like, you call in the Holy Spirit for the what you want, not Spirit said which wicked charms and witch hunts. You don't know what that person's actually calling in because you don't know what their electromagnetic field is vibrating at. They could be a preacher and still have the lowest spiritual authority in the whole freaking stadium, and you're allowing them to call in whatever it is that they match to instead of owning your own power and asking for a higher authority to come and help guide you. It's like this weird disconnection of, you know, I, if a priest does it, then it's okay. Then it must be good. It's like something like that. Okay. Demon eye on your mirror, everything checks out. Aster quantumatic alchemist. Quantumatic, I like that. Quantumatic. Beyonce, yeah. You're my favorite trans streamer. Garth Brooks after Chris Games was way more cultivated and far-reaching than Beyond. Anxiety blocker, a state of being. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read all of the comments. My alter ego is the I am, who've been in slumber within the lamb's blood for centuries. So we're gonna get Charlie's perspective and see if what we can get. Those are just some of the things I was getting. And so the song kind of, it almost feels like they got another one. They got another one. Like having someone who has a activated spiritual gift, but was kind of like directed in the wrong path on how to use it. And so he was targeted because he became like a public figure that had so many possibilities because they had such a because they had a spiritual gift. When you have an activated spiritual gift, and what I mean by that is his ability to his photographic memory. It gave him a lot of confidence. It gave him a lot of godfidence. But he used it in a way that was kind of overbearing, kind of a little arrogant, being up higher than everyone else. And I'm not saying he wasn't a nice guy, but I am saying that there is something about him being a match to lower energies taking advantage of him or using him because his ego kind of thrived off of this environment that he created through his gift. Okay. A relationship with God is all you need to start your day. Absolutely. Blow your nose, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, Alex. When I do these readings, all the whatever negative energy is in the chat or like whoever's watching, my body creates mucus to kind of like keep it out of my body. So it's just spirit phlegm, I call it. But let's get some. Let's tap into Charlie's energy. Thank you so much, Holy Divine Spirit. Please allow me to tap into Charlie's energy. I invite Charlie's energy into my energy field with Archangel Michael for protection, so we can get his higher perspective of his linear view. Please tell me about yourself. So he definitely was part of the Alliance. He definitely came into this incarnation to express movement and communication, to open up receptivity through his discipline and structure style and through his ambition and his wisdom. He definitely was part of the rebellion, but he definitely was used. There's something about him being used. Okay. Sinister intentions. Yeah. Having someone who is part of the rebellion, step onto a public platform, not being awakened yet in the way that he needed to be in order to have instincts about what he was being used for or who was using him, something like that. Okay. Tell me about yourself, Charlie. Tell me about yourself. So there may be something about, his evangelical beliefs allowing something other than Holy Spirit to use him. Responsible, I told you. Responsible. Taking ownership of one's duties and obligations. Yeah, not using his gift responsibly. Something about not understanding his psychic ability. Not really labeling that or thinking of it that way. Something that he did on an unconscious level is just, and that's how a lot of gifts work. Everyone has a gift, and so you can absolutely use it unconsciously on accident all the time. Make sure you're getting those likes up, guys, so people can find us. It really helps the channel out. Thank you so much. Thank you for a cool channel. Oh, thank you so much. Tyrannosaurus Rex. I like your name. Persevering. Persisting through difficulties without giving up. Energetic. Possessing high level of physical and mental energy. Oh, that's so funny because Aniko says, she says, I can go higher, past the stratosphere, I catch fire, I go hard. I don't even need to try. Star blood. I don't ever get tired. Predestined, written in stone. I feel it coming. I feel it in my bones. Heavily protected. Never alone. Tapped in. I'm connected to the unknown. Possessing a high level of physical and mental energy. Yeah, I was getting that earlier. There's something about him never getting tired. He was considered a threat, and that's why he was targeted, because he has star blood and he had an activated gift that made him persevering and gave him energy. He would have fun in the way that he was awakening or the way that he showed up. It gave him energy, and so that's a threat to these interdimensionals, because they need other people's energy to feed off of in order to have energy. And so they don't typically have the same level. They don't have Godfinance. They don't have God energy. And so they have to use those that have the certain frequency, but they have to be very strategic about the way that they infiltrate these star bloods, these star beings, the light workers that actually get on a public platform, because that once star beings become, as big as Charlie Kirk, and they start, expanding themselves in that way and showing up for the collective, that's dangerous for them. So courageous, facing fear or danger with bravery. Innovative, having the ability to introduce new original ideas. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, when someone is responsible and they have the energy to show up all the time, and they persevere, and even though they might get a little pushback, they still feel this calling within them to push forward with whatever new creative idea or ability that they have. Attach, yeah, that becomes something that the interdimensionals want to attach themselves to. So there is something about him facing some kind of fear or danger that may have been brought about from his introduction of a new way to debate or something. I'm not really sure yet, but those are just some key things about him. Tell me more. So what is this facing fear, danger, or bravery? Spirit said used when I first started. Split the deck. I have the Hanged Man and this. Look at this man in a suit running. Something that he wanted to run from but couldn't. Something he wanted to run away from but he couldn't. Something that gave him a lot of stress that he didn't know how to address, that made him want to turn away from the public. Something that may have ruined his perspective of pride. Spirit said pride. Something that, this is the death card too. Something that it almost feels like something he got himself into that he didn't know how to get out of, because the writing was on the wall that he may have been being celebrated for something he grew, but there's something that stressed him out. Definitely something that freaked him out. What is this? What was freaking you out? Something that put him in a hanged place that he couldn't get away from. Oh, look, Spirit said fish, and look at this. There's a fish right in the window. Something about religion, because we know that the fish is represented by, is a symbol for Yeshua and the age of Pisces. But we're in the age of Aquarius now, which is the age of truth. Something that made him feel like a fish out of water. Something he may have been internalizing and needing to journal about. Something that caused him great despair. The Chariot. Something that wasn't what he thought it was. It wasn't what he thought it was. Yeah, it wasn't what he thought it was. 10 of Cups in reverse, the family life. Something about a family. I have 2 kids here and a wife. Oh, that's so funny because look, he has 2 cups of wine in his hands. And she has her wine, and the children have wine. Why do the children have wine? Gradually. Something that happened gradually, slowly. It's weird too, because on this dinner table, the dessert is with the meal. The dessert's already on the table with the meal, and the kids have wine, and he has 2 wine glasses in his hand. And the woman has his food in her hand, and she doesn't have any food. And there's 3 extra people sitting at the table that aren't eating dinner but are eating something different.
Unlikely.
Okay, Spirit said not likely, so feeding him grapes, feeding him meat and wine. Huh. Yeah, it's like she's giving him the food. She doesn't have any food. There's 3 plates that have dessert on it. Interesting. And he has 2 glasses of wine. Let me see. Let's do imagine if. Okay, I need people to help me with numbers. Can you guys pick a number 1 through 6? Can you guys help me pick a number 1 through 6? Four, three, four, four, three, four, four, four. Okay, 2. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Thank you guys. 1, 4. Okay, that's good. No more after that. I have 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 2, 1, 4. Thank you guys. We'll do some imagine ifs, okay? Okay, 4 is the first one. So, imagine if Charlie Kirk were... Oh, I'm sorry. Imagine if Charlie Kirk were a construction site, what would he be? Getting fired. Getting fired. Getting fired. Lucky number 4, and 444 is protection. 144 is 144. If you know, you know. Imagine if Charlie Kirk were at a construction site, what would he be doing? Getting fired. And I have taking a coffee break, and I have this one having a coffee break with the fish in it, and Spirit said fish earlier.
Portal to hell.
Portal to hell, Spirit just said. I'm telling you, these evangelical people are not worshiping God. I'm telling you. There's something else that's going on here. Okay? It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I was watching The Conjuring Last Rites last night, and there's this scene where the young lady's getting her communion. And I've been baptized when I was little, but I've never had a communion. But in the scene, she's in the church and she's walking down the aisle, and there's the priest, the Catholic priest, that puts a cross on the head and says, I seal the Holy Spirit within you, or something, you know, which is so weird because you are Holy Spirit. You are, you are a soul having a human experience. So I don't know why. I'm not really sure. You know, it kind of reminds me of that. Very like misinformed with the way it works. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's do another one. I have 3. Let's see. Imagine if Charlie Kirk won an overseas trip. Which country would he visit? France. France. Something about France. And and look at this. Doesn't this look like something in France? Possibly wanting to leave everything behind. Or something that happened in France, something that happened overseas. Let me see. Did Charlie Kirk ever go to France? The influential Trump ally who at age 18 set up Turning Point. French and American far-right gather in Paris for Charlie Kirk. Europe's far-right and Charlie Kirk. The continent's far right is claiming the activist as a martyr. Charlie Kirk talking about France.
For France, period. And that's a tragedy. I hope your country wakes up to that and slows down the flow of migrants into your country to preserve your beautiful culture. I love French culture. I'm not French. I have no French ancestry. But you should be proud of where you're from. You have a lot to be proud of. You have an amazing history and culture. And why are you bringing a bunch of third worlders to destroy it? You have a great culture, and you're a great people, and you have amazing contributions of thinkers and writers and food and art and history and language, and your country ceases to exist when you don't protect your country. And what is a country if it's not the borders, shared language, history? And we get called all these nasty names for saying that, but I want to see more countries stand up for who they are and what they believe in, and I hope France starts to do that.
Okay, so something about France. Something about France. You are a singer. Stay right there. I'm almost finished. Does Charlie believe he met Erica without behind the scenes manipulations? I don't know. Let's see. 4. Imagine if Charlie were falsely accused of stealing at work. What would he or she do? Actually steal something in retaliation. I also have investigate to expose the real thief, resign in protest, tearfully plead innocence, and sue for slander and frame a colleague. Wow. Actually steal something in retaliation. Investigate to expose the real thief. Interesting. There's a lot of attention on France lately. They've been taking what a birthright. Imagine if Charlie were a TV catchphrase. Which would he be? 4 again. Who loves you, baby? Who loves you, baby? Your mission, should you choose to accept it. Beat me up, Scotty. Who loves you, baby? Getting fired, France. Actually steal something.
Potions.
Spirit said potions. That's interesting because this 10 of Cups card that was in reverse, I was analyzing it, and Spirit just said potions. It's funny how everyone has a glass of wine, and he has 2. So there's something about him possibly ingesting something or drinking something that may have been given to him by a woman, and possibly to the children as well. All right, we have a couple more Imagine F's. Who loves you, baby? 4. Imagine if Charlie were a collection, what would he be? Frequent flyer points. Collecting frequent flyer points. What do you collect frequent flyer points for? To fly, to get away from something, to travel. Travel to China? I mean, I didn't mean to say to China. Something about China. I didn't mean to say China. I meant to say France. Imagine if Wait, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, and 2, 1, 4. Imagine if Charlie could solve one problem, which would he choose? War. War.
Moments slipping away.
Moments slipping away. There's something about him declaring war because he was going to get fired, or he was going to get let go of, or there's something that he was recognizing was being set up, or something was happening. He was getting ready to or he was investigating something that was being taken from him. Something that was being taken from him. It could have been his company, because he started this. I'm not sure exactly like what they do. Let me see if I can. He's an entrepreneur, an extreme right-wing political activist, media personality. He co-founded the conservative student organization Turning Point USA in 2012. Let me see what Turning Point is, because I'm not really sure like what it is. What is Turning Point?
According to Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia,
An American nonprofit organization that advocates for conservative politics on high school, college, and university campuses. It was founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk and Bill Montgomery.
TPUSA's affiliate groups include Turning Point Endowment, Turning Point Austin, and TPUSA Faith.
What's the concept? A specific, significant moment when something begins to change. In response to backlash against the NFL's selection. Oh no, that's something different. Huh. The organization launched Professor Watchlist, a website that lists academic staff that, according to TPUSA, discriminate against conservative students and advance leftist propaganda in the classroom. TPUSA has attempted to influence student government elections in an effort to combat modern liberalism on college and university campuses. In 2021, TPUSA started its school board watchlist website, which publishes names and photos of school board members who have adopted mask mandates or anti-racist curricula. Though aligned with the Christian right, TPUSA has led its operations separate from traditional conservative organizations nationwide. TPUSA hosts several annual conferences, including the Student Action Summit, Young Women's Leadership Summit, Young Black Leadership Summit, and America Fest. The organization is funded by conservative donors and foundations, including Republican Party politicians. Politics is just so horrible. Politics is horrible. So something about this company he started perhaps being taken from him, or slowly being taken from him, or about him being backdoored or something like that, or finding out information about his company and him getting fired, or someone setting up an opportunity for him to get separated from. Oh yeah, look, Spirit said sell just now, and look at this. Where is it? Spirit said sell, and look at this. This person's looking at the cell on the ground in fear frightened. Huh. Okay, I have 2 more and then we'll see what else. Another pointless stream. Oh, Fawn's kiss. We love you. Thanks for being here. Zachary says, everything's pointless, dude. Get used to it. Okay, so now we're on 1. Imagine if Charlie could afford to buy a dream home. Which would he buy? An ultra-modern city penthouse. An ultra-modern city penthouse. Yeah, and look at this. Look at this. All of the pictures, the cards I chose have the city life behind it. So something about being in 2 different energies. You know, what we're learning about energy is you can't be chasing the most ultra-modern city penthouse and also live a simple family life. Like, I'm not saying you can't have both, but if your thoughts are about, you know, making your brand bigger and using your platform to get money and changing your views in order to get funded by political parties, I don't know, you know, like, I don't think Yeshua would choose a side. I don't think Yeshua would choose a side. I think Yeshua would want both sides to come together because there's no separation. You know, Yeshua knew that there's no separation. And so that's like something that I'm feeling in this energy is that once you choose a side, there are no sides. There's no such things as sides. Thank you, Lake Superior. There's no such thing. And so, oh, thank you, Zelda. And so there's something about him choosing a side, framing his, you know, framing this design he's building of what he wants, what he thinks brings him joy, but really he's doing it to be the biggest, the baddest, the best, you know, not exactly in a Yeshua state of mind, but representing Yeshua at the same time. Okay. All right, we have one more imagine if. Imagine if Charlie could discover the answer to a great mystery. Which mystery would he choose? What is the secret of eternal youth and good looks? Come on! Fucking A. And it's so funny because how come I pay more taxes than Donald Trump? What happens after death? Who killed JFK? What are the Colonel's 11 secret herbs and spices? Is there life in outer space? So there's definitely something about him choosing youth and good looks. The secret to eternal youth and good looks. That's funny. Instead of, you know, what would be good for everyone. You know, we need a leader that's not choosing sides, that wants everyone's best interest at heart, that isn't pre-programmed by old, you know, religious belief structures that don't really apply anymore, you know? They don't really apply. So there's something about that. Something about him choosing the wrong path, you know? He was supposed to choose a different path. He may have been some kind of temptation. Let's do the great story generator. Charlie, what is this? What happens after death? What is this? an ultra modern city penthouse. He chose money, you guys. He chose a side that paid him the most money, that supported his brand, that gave him the most funding. And when you're getting paid to represent a side, you have to come up and show up as that side. But something happened. There's something that happened that made him realize that his decision may have not been a wise decision. An old lady with 20 cats. An old lady with 20 cats. A widowed mortician.
Joseph, inside.
Inside. I can't make it up, you guys. A widow. A widow who serves everyone else before themselves, who's giving copious amounts of some kind of liquid or something within the food or drink. A widowed mortician, someone who's skilled at dealing with death, or who a mortician knows how to plan for death. A mortician knows how to prepare for death, knows how to set the body up for death. Oh, thank you, Zelda. Zelda says, remember to hit the like button before could forget. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Spirit said, Billy, a friendly ex-convict. A friendly ex-convict. Blinded during a freak lightning strike.
Look familiar.
Look familiar, yeah. Playing off of his want to have a... You know, he was really young to have a family too. With someone who had so much going on, for him to start a family so young and to have so much accomplishment so young, there's definitely something strange about that. His nonprofit organization was in Phoenix, Arizona. Advocacy on conservatism on education campuses.
Out of it.
And a friendly ex-convict might be Bill Montgomery. It says that was one of the other founders. 1,000 years from now. A former child star television. Yeah. So there's something about two people that he would have never thought in a million years would have ever that were former friends or former friendly people that were attached to him, that he never would have thought in 1,000 years that he was blinded to would ever do this freak lightning strike, that would ever do this to him. Okay. A reformed hitman. I can't make it up. Widowed mortician. So what else? Tell me about this widowed mortician. This person...
Step away.
Spirit said step away. Okay, hold on. Frame a colleague. A friendly ex-convict. A former child television star. It wasn't Erica Kirk a former Miss USA or something? She was definitely something, she did something like that. She was like a former Miss USA, and she was trying to make it in the entertainment industry. Because I saw her on some dating shows and stuff like that.
Fact.
Fattened. Spirit said fattened, and didn't I say his looks changed after like a certain time? Because he was being fattened up. He was definitely being given some kind of food and drink, copious amounts of something. Tell me more about this food situation in this widow.
Trade carefully.
Tread carefully. Tread carefully. An underground spy. I'm gonna do a mind trap. Possibly an underground spy. Someone who was part of France. Oh my god. Resistance headquarters in France. It says right here. Resistance headquarters in France. I have valuable documents given to me by sources very high in Allied command.
A minor stick.
Blueprints, maps, detailed data of estimated strengths of German forces. Among the documents was a copy of the annual speech King George gave in the British House of Commons. I actually sat in the house and listened to him deliver the speech. Finally, he produced the paper containing the names of the German double agents who had infiltrated the resistance movement. Just as he was about to read out the names, the resistance leader pulled out his gun and shot him. That is the lying traitor, the leader said. How did he know? He knew he was lying because the British House of Commons is the one place in England that the king or queen can never go. You guys, look at all the cards. I picked this card randomly out of this. Out of all of these, that's the card that I picked. An underground spy slipped past border patrol. And wasn't he just talking about the borders of France? I have valuable documents given to me by sources very high in Allied command. Containing the names of German double agents who have infiltrated the resistance. Charlie, are you saying camped? Are you saying that you are the underground spy? No. Are you saying that someone close to you was the spy? The underground spy? Are you saying that this person was very close to you? Are you saying that this person fed you and gave you food and drink and took care of you? Are you saying that this person is part of France or working for France? No. Are you saying this person works for United States? Yes. Are you saying they were hired to be your handler? Are you saying that you were given a handler to make sure that you could be trusted? Did you find some kind of valuable documents? Did you discover something about double agents in the United States? Were you looking for a way to use that information against the powers that be? Damn, you guys. Just need a minute. I just need a minute. So there's something about him. It says, among the documents was a copy of the annual speech. So something that someone said. He had some kind of... He actually sat in the house and listened to him deliver a speech about something
Taxes.
that impacted him in such a way that it made him realize that he didn't want to do what he was doing anymore. He was blinded to something, but then he found something out. How can I find that out? Maybe if we do Trivial Pursuit. Blind. Yeah, blinded. And Spirit said blind, and I have blinded here. Something he was blinded to. Something that he didn't know about until something... I don't know, until... Where am I at in time? Ugh. How can I find this out? Let me see. Let me get one more mind trap. Please elaborate. There was a loud crack of thunder, and I have a lightning strike right here. A loud lightning strike. A freak of lightning strike and a loud crack of thunder. Okay? And the power went off. Shadow started to look for a candle when he heard a knock on his door. Come quickly, my Uncle Cecil has been shot! Shadow grabbed a flashlight and ran to the nearby house of Cecil, breath. When Shadow shone the light on Cecil's face, he knew he was dead. Phil explained that he and his uncle were watching TV when suddenly the window smashed and the Cecil fell forward dead. Wow. At that moment, there was a crash of thunder and the power went out. That's when I ran and got you. Just then the power returned and the two reading lights came on. Shadow and Phil sat in total silence for a full 2 minutes, unable to believe the gruesome scene before them. Shadow finally turned to Phil and said, "Your story is an obvious lie. Why would Shadow doubt Phil's story?" If Cecil, Breath, and Phil Stop were watching TV as Phil claimed, the TV should have come back on when the power returned. Since they sat in silence for a couple of minutes, it was obvious that the TV had not been on. So there's something about catching someone in a lie. Possibly this spy, this handler, who may be this woman, an old cat lady vibe, someone who can't hold a relationship, someone who uses people for relationships, someone who may have been his handler, who made sure to feed him well and give him children. Something about him. Something about him and something that was explained to him that didn't make sense. That to him was like the event where he realized something was wrong, where the lights came on, where he realized a gruesome scene before him was unfolding, and that the story is an obvious lie.
Here we are.
Here we are. Spirit just said, here we are. My Uncle Cecil has been shot. Come quickly. I'm telling you, I think he might be under some kind of protection. But because they can't say that,
Later shift.
graveyard shift, because they can't say that he's, I think this was a planned event. I don't think that Charlie Kirk is dead, you guys. Honestly, I don't think he's dead. But what I do think is this is some kind of divine event, because the belief that we have that he is dead allows us to read his energy without me having to talk to him. And so there's something that he found out about a double agent that infiltrated the resistance, and he realized that they're a traitor, that they're lying. And he went to some kind of house and he listened to some speech that a king delivered. It says King George. And there's something about France. And he realized that there was something extremely wrong, that the powers that be, the lights went on in his home because he realized that he had very valuable information from valuable sources that would make people gasp. And so he needed to be protected, or there's something about him needing protection, or something like that. Damn. How can I find more out? I'm gonna try to do Trivial Pursuit and see what I can get. Let's do brown. Ever catch a walleye like superior dude? Yeah, interesting. This is interesting because I'm not sure. Are the children really his offspring? I don't know. I don't know. Look how staged this looks. You know, look how staged it looks. It just doesn't look real. It doesn't look real. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 glasses of wine and only 4 people at the table. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places set. So I don't know. Very interesting. Who confessed to romancing Maureen McCormick in his memoir, Growing Up Brady? Barry Williams. Who confessed to romancing Maureen McCormick? Who confessed? Who confessed to romancing? Yeah, his handler is someone who's romantic. What was James Patterson's follow-up to his Alex Cross chiller, Roses Are Red? Violets Are Blue. Roses are red, violets are blue. Yep. This is definitely someone that's romantically connected to him. Someone who is playing against them. Someone who plays men. Someone who's a madam? A mademoiselle? Someone who's been dead for over 35 years. Like, I'm maybe like dead inside. Someone who uses men. He may have saw something on the computer or on the phone that gave him information that this person that he was romantically involved with was a handler. Something that he found out about where he realized that his family life may have been some kind of setup for something. What physicist, in the words of movie buff Christopher Frayling, looks like the absolute epitome of a B-movie scientist? Stephen Hawking. Yeah, some kind of mastermind plan that was made in the shadows. I'll look in the Bible. Let me look in the Bible. Holy Divine Spirit, what? I'm not sure if... Did Erica Kirk introduce... Whoops. Did Erica Kirk introduce religion to Charlie Kirk? Did you know Erica was leaving Catholicism? Her master's degrees was from Liberty University and was pursuing a doctorate of Bible studies. National Catholic Register's Post. Apparently, Mrs. Kirk is a practicing Catholic. Their marriage was just validated in Catholic Church a few days ago. Charlie was to appear on Bishop Barron's program in a few days. Sounds like he may have been about to become Catholic. Charlie Kirk quote, I love devout Catholics, so many in my life that I treasure. My wife baptized Catholic, my mom baptized Catholic, and my grandmother was the greatest Catholic who ever lived. I have such great respect for really serious Catholics in so many different ways. My team has a lot of devout Catholics. Huh. Erica Berger says, I listened to many podcasts of a pastor who was born and raised Catholic. He has a doctorate in theology and philosophy. He says he converted to Protestantism because he started to read his Bible earnestly. He warned about the death of Western culture long before it became mainstream talking point. So it's very interesting that Charlie was starting to convert to Catholicism because his wife is Catholic, just like Candace Owens converted to Catholicism due to her husband's conversion. Yeah, he wasn't even Catholic prior to Erica, even though his mother and his grandmother were Catholic. That doesn't make any sense, you guys. If anyone would convert him, wouldn't it be his mother or his grandmother? Doesn't that mean that most of his life he may not have agreed with Catholicism? Why couldn't his mother or his grandmother convert him, but Erica could? And the same with Candace Owens, apparently.
I am disappointed.
I am disappointed. Because I'm telling you, Catholicism and religion is not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. And they use it as a disguise to invoke something that is not godly, because God doesn't care if you're gay. God doesn't care if you get a divorce. God doesn't care if you get an abortion. God is everything. God is everything. God created everything, and every experience is valuable. God wants you to be a good person. God wants you to treat others kindly, treat yourself kindly, So there's something weird going on. Divine revelation. Alliance of Ptolemy and Demetrius. And that's so funny. Oh my gosh, daughter Cleopatra in marriage. King Alexander met him, and Ptolemy gave him his daughter Cleopatra in marriage. Their wedding was celebrated and Ptolemaeus with great splendor according to the custom of kings. That's so funny, because I've been getting downloads about Cleopatra, and they just recently found Cleopatra's sibling that she unalived, by the way, that would have been the heir to the throne, and that's why she unalived them. But they found that sibling's tomb and were able to run a DNA analysis, and found that the Ptolemaic bloodline is completely circular. It from inbreeding, and there's so many things wrong with the lineage, with the genes, that Cleopatra may not have been this beautiful, beautiful pharaoh that she, that we all think she was. She actually could have had Graves' disease, a goiter, bulging eyes, a lot of health issues because of inbreeding. You guys, what the hell is going on? The ambassadors to Ptolemy sent a message to return because the seat of the throne was being taken and needed to be established by rule, by crushing and gaining control of the country. Engaging in battle by armies and being crushed by it, assuming the royal throne. And that's so funny, because in our reading last week, where we tried to get a higher perspective of the 4 recent events, Spirit said 5, or Spirit said 7, and Charlie Kirk may have been one of 7 events that are being set up to direct us in a very specific timeline, so they get an outcome of having the throne. Thirst for truth, for having the throne. Okay? And so there was something about Charlie being a better candidate than the next candidate that they want to come in. And so they needed to get rid of him, or either get him on board or get rid of him, and they didn't know which one, because if they got him on board and he was okay with all the things that needed to be done in order for him to be a leader or whatever in their way, then they would keep him because he's valuable, because he has spiritual abilities, he has a photographic memory, and he has a lot of influence, and he is evangelical, okay? But there's something that happened where he may have saw or heard some conversation or email or text message or something like that made him realize that the person closest to him is actually his handler, that is directing the flow of his decisions, needing him to be initiated into this religious structure in order to get him to a level of blackmail or whatever they do to lock in the candidates. But if the candidate veers off the path and realizes the ultimate plan and starts to have independent thinking and starts to realize what the actual plan is, then they deviate from the narrative that they're trying to impose. And so then it becomes, because they're like the family of Ptolemy, they want to keep it all in the same circular structure. So the same people who are in power are connected to them, so they're continuously in power. Okay, so they try to infiltrate the star bloods, the starborn, because they don't want the starborn to have sovereignty. They don't want them to be independent of this group, of this power dynamic. They want to constantly be in control. And so if they can use a star blood or starborn to use them as a way to use their gifts against themselves for use for them, then they would rather do that. They want to do that because they don't have divine gifts. They've lost their gifts a long time ago. Okay. Good morning. My name is Karen. You are a fortune teller, yes or no? No, I'm not a fortune teller. And the lineage of Ptolemy, we now know, are incestual. I'm not saying that they're incestual, but I'm saying metaphorically they want to keep on having people that will bend to the way that they rule or to their structure or whatever. And the best way to do that is under the guise of religion, a religion. What's the largest religion in the world? Catholicism. I'm not saying it's wrong to be Catholic, but what I am saying is that we need to start questioning the way that they operate and their belief systems, because would God actually care about the things that they say God would care about? I don't know. I think it creates more guilt and shame than what God would really care about, okay? Ugh. Give me now your daughter for my wife, and as your son-in-law I will give to you and her gifts worthy of you. Son-in-law. Who are Erica Kirk's parents? Let me see. And this could be metaphorical. It doesn't have to be her actual parents. Who are Erica Kirk's parents? Lori and Kent Franciv. Doesn't that sound like France? Franciv? Erica Lane Franciv was born on November 20th, 1988. What does Erica Kirk's father do for a living? A program research director at AZ Tech International, a firm specializing in earned value management consulting for U.S. government agencies like the Department of Defense. Tell me that ain't a whole plant right there. Wow. Yeah, she was Catholic. She was born into a Catholic family. France. Frantzve. FRANTZVE. Name origin. Germanic roots, possibly involving France, Francis, Frenchman, and he said France twice. What the fuck is going on? And Germanic roots, which this mind trap says the resistance, it says right here, he produced the paper containing the names of the German double agent. I can't make it up, you guys. The German double agent. This woman is German. Her last name is a German name, and that sounds like France. She's a double agent who infiltrated the resistance movement. Just so you guys know, I have to say this for legal reasons. I cannot prove any of this in a court of law. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Wow. Wow is right.
I was frozen to death.
I was frozen to death. There's just like so many things about this. Like, it's hard to kind of streamline it, but essentially they infiltrated Charlie Kirk because he was so influential and he was a starborn. Just like the song said, Jericho, it says, he doesn't get tired. He's always getting, he's predestined. It's written in stone for him. This was a leader that was meant to influence the collective towards more of a for everyone type of thing, but he got infiltrated. And he I will say, you know, there's something about him realizing that he made certain decisions that were not responsible, okay? And that could have been choosing a side. Choosing the side that would fund his startup, okay? That would give him the money he needed in order to go to these schools and speak about his beliefs and you know, using his spiritual gifts, his psychic gifts of photographic memory for facts and, you know, all of that, to go to these schools to boost his ego, essentially. I'm not saying that to be rude, but he did kind of use his gifts irresponsibly in that way, and that's what made him an energetic match to be infiltrated. Because if you would choose a side, the thing is, you can't choose a side. God doesn't choose a side. God loves all sides. God loves everything. God is omnipresent. God doesn't need you to sacrifice anything. God doesn't need you to hurt anybody or lie. God knows your heart at any time or place. God is God. God is everything. God is even the bad things and the good things. And so when you choose a side that makes you say this is right or this is wrong, that right there in itself is against God, because you can't do that. Who are you to say what God wants and doesn't want, and then project that onto people and say, no, it's this way because I know this fact and that fact. So he wasn't using his gift responsibly. So that made him an energetic match to being infiltrated, because you have to know that these people work with interdimensional beings that have fourth dimensional awareness. And so they can use your emotions and use your weaknesses against you to target you and indulge you and have you indulge in things to keep you at that energy. So, you know, you want the penthouse in the city and you want to be the biggest person on the internet, and you know, what are you willing to do to do that? But if you're someone like Charlie Kirk, it's a thin line, just like the song says, it's a thin line, because he could go either direction. He has the capability to go either direction, okay? And so if he finds out about the infiltration, then he will most definitely go and
Refrigerator.
and he will most likely go and isolate himself and separate himself from that energy. But if we can keep him in line and we can keep him blinded, I have blinded twice, from what we're doing to him, which could have been done through some kind of food. Spirit said spells when before I turned the live on 3 times, and potions. So could have been putting something in the food to make him docile, to make him, more easily susceptible to influence, something like that. Okay? Because they need him, they need his power, they need his influence. But there's something that he found. How can I learn about what he found? What can I learn about what he found? Oh, this is becoming such a long live. Grave. Okay, not that. What did he find? Spirit said grave. So whatever he found was what put him in the grave. It may have been so disturbing that he just, look how scared this person is. It may have been so disturbing that he didn't really know how to go about it. Or this could be the people that try to infiltrate him. Maybe now that, he's, dead, they may have to go along with this. He may have planned a fake death so he could flee somewhere with this information about a double agent, about a German double agent. Okay. About a German double agent that infiltrated the resistance. Spiritual attacks. I cannot make it up. Spiritual attacks. Being a spiritual warrior, awakened spiritual warrior, realizing he's being attacked. He may have 7. Didn't I say there were 7? Supposedly there could be 7 events. There's already been 5, so 2 more. But there's something about him and how he found out about this person being his handler that really freaked him out. So he had to come up with some kind of lightning strike where it's only going to work one time. So there's something about him teaming up with the resistance because he has valuable documents. So that were given to him by sources in a very high allied command. And so I'm talking about blueprints, maps, detailed data, estimated strengths of the German forces. Very important information that he has. So he may have used the opportunity of his next engagement, public engagement, to create this scenario where he could separate himself from these Germanic powers that be, this double agent. But see, the thing is that these agents didn't know that this was happening, and so he's gone into hiding. But now they have to pretend that he's gone because that's how it was set up. They can't say that, he fled and because he has important documents that could ruin us, right? So this was something that could have possibly been planned so he could reveal a traitor, a lying traitor. This could be maybe the next 2 events that will unfold. High value. Yeah, a high value person. He has high valued information, very high. I have valuable documents, high value. I have valuable documents given to me by sources very high in allied command. Yeah. Charlie Kirk is in hiding because he realized that he picked the wrong side and that he was tricked by someone very close to him who was playing a double agent. Okay? he realized that what he wanted was childish in the grand scheme of things, and now it's time for him to be mature about where he stands in his self-evaluation. It's not about abundance, isn't about having the city penthouse. That's what he thought he wanted. That's what this person, this double agent, made him think was important. And that's how she infiltrated him, through indulgence. Yeah, let's have the finer things. We deserve it. Documents can be manipulative. Energy never lies. Exactly. Energy never lies. The ex, she could possibly be working, this person could be working with their ex. Maybe that's the message that he found that really freaked him out. Something about how she may be a double agent that wants to replace Charlie with someone she was with previously. Okay? Or that she may have still been having a relationship with someone from her past. Okay? Opposites attract. Different beliefs. Insane attraction. Yeah. Now he was wondering, why was I so attracted to this person? How did we move so fast? There may have been things that he was talked into doing. Been talked into partaking in, under the guise of religion. This person may have been mirroring his want for a family life, or may have been wearing a mask to mirror what he wanted, and that's why they were attracted so quickly. But really, they're opposites. They're very different from each other. They're like an odd couple. Okay, it's because this double agent was never interested in actually having a relationship with him. She had a whole different strategy that she was going by, okay, that was unknown to him, that he was blinded to. Okay, message, I told you, a conversation. He saw some kind of message to either for this double agent to meet up with someone, or talking to someone who he thought was her ex, something like that. Be aware of fake people. Absolutely. It's because this woman mirrored what he wanted, but so he didn't see the red flags, because she was projecting what he was onto him, so he was just seeing himself. So that's why he didn't see the red flags. He didn't see the deception. But he did see a message, and she made sure to distract him. There's lots of distractions, always keeping him on some kind of short leash, always pretending to be this super religious, caring matriarch that wants this, whole world to be in love and light, or whatever she tells him. She was just mirroring him.
Hello.
Narcissism at its finest, and Spirit said hello. Watch actions. There is something wrong with someone over focused on you. Tell me more about the agenda. Inferno. They wanted him to self-sabotage. If things were allowed to play out the way they wanted, they would have made Charlie into some kind of like crazy person, or something where he would have self-sabotaged, or said something inappropriate, or did something that would have made him look a certain way. That was like where it was going to go. But because Charlie caught wind of these things, these red flags, he made his own play by trusting in a different agency or different people, or he made some kind of allied friends. planning. I cannot make it up. He planned his own getaway because he knew where it was going to go. There was something he saw where that freaked him out, where he knew that they were planning maybe 2 more events that would have involved him self-sabotaging himself, getting himself out of the way. That's how they like to do it. They're like, if we can get them to get themselves out of the way, then it's less work for us. Okay. Currency, energy. So there's something about him needing to strategize a way to get out of this mess. And so he definitely, this could potentially be protection for him, because I have divine protection right here. This could be a way for him to protect himself. But the thing about it that is genius is that they have to go along with it, because what are they gonna say? They can't. They probably know. They know that he faked his own death and escaped secretly. He did this very sneakily, because this is a way to protect himself and the information he has. Okay. It's over for real. Yeah. He realizes that he was under some kind of spell work. I can't make it up. He was under some kind of spell work, and she got caught, because that's why the relationship moved so quickly, because she's like, yeah, drink this, eat that, put this in your mouth, because it could have had spell work in it. That may have been why these opposites attracted, and why he was so enamored with her, because she just kept it coming. She kept it flowing, And, spell work could absolutely not be just, ingesting stuff, but it can be words, like just kissing up to him and just telling him all the things he wants to hear. And you're the most, greatest leader in the world, just saying whatever it took to get him on board. Okay. What's the ultimate goal here? Like, I think it's to remove Charlie from this multi-billion-dollar nonprofit organization that he built from the ground up with Bill Montgomery. Let me look up Bill Montgomery. That's what the craziest part about this reading is, the France last name being of Germanic origin and the German double agent. That's wild. That's really wild. Charlie Kirk's friend, Bill Montgomery. Who is Bill Montgomery to Charlie Kirk? Because Spirit also said Billy earlier. So something about Billy. Was an American businessman and conservative activist. He co-founded the conservative political organization Turning Point USA with Charlie Kirk. Montgomery became Kirk's mentor and worked behind the scenes during the organization's early formation. Who is Bill Montgomery? William Gerard Montgomery is an American attorney who has been a justice of the Arizona Supreme Court since September 2019. Okay. The Montgomery family, prominent family of Anglo-Norman origin belonging to both French and British nobility. Did Churchill and Montgomery get along? A true friendship began. A wartime colleague. His friend may have been able to help him get out of this situation, because he did some detective work and realized that he was under some kind of spell work, or something was done to him to make him specifically obsessed with this double agent. Okay, because she is a plant. She's a handler who possibly is actually still with someone else. Unfinished business. Yeah, because she's trying to she's trying to replace Charlie in his, because they need someone who's down. They need someone who's down to be who's down to be a clown. And that's whoever her ex is, whoever that is. Love affair. I can't make it up, you guys. I can't make it up. Let me guess, you're vaccinated to everywhere. I don't know what that means, but I do have I have a really awesome story about the COVID vaccines. If you guys want to hear it, I will be happy to tell you. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me not tell you. This isn't about me. It's not about me, but I'm not vaccinated. I know your close friend took it. How do you know that? How do you know that? No, you're not the tarot card reader. I try not to read tarot cards. Spirit has me do game cards or oracle cards just because Spirit wants to show you that Spirit can talk to you through anything. No contact. No contact. Yeah. I am smiling because this is like the beginning of like a rebellion, you know? If this is true, and I hope to God it is, like this person may have, this is like some movie shit, you guys. This person created a way to separate, found out what was going on, strategized a way to separate themselves by using the things around in their environment that were already like unfolding to separate himself from this double agent, because he found out that she's trying to have himself sabotaged so a replacement can come in. And that's what's happening now. Like, I think the next two things that we're going to look out for is who's going to replace Charlie Kirk. Who is she going to, whoever she brings in to replace Charlie Kirk, or even if it's herself, they may have to like pivot a little in their plans because it didn't go according to the way that they use divination abuse and stuff. They try to read future timelines and then take actions to help guide the collective. So we're like, oh, someone needs to replace Charlie Kirk. Why not this person? And we think it's like our idea, you know? How much powder do you need when you powder your nose? I don't powder my nose. I don't powder my nose. This is au natural. Very interesting, you guys. Fascinating. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. We'll see how it unfolds, but essentially what Charlie's saying is that this may be a planned event. He planned his own death so he could separate himself from the enchanter, from the enchantress. I cannot make it up, because this is a group of certain bloodline that want to keep it circular, that want to keep it going in a certain way. The Ptolemaic bloodline. Okay, these are the pharaohs of the old days that use stupid ancient rituals that they think that they'd use under the guise of religion, Catholicism, to make people feel separated, to make people choose a side. What do you want us to know? What do you want excuse me. What do you know now in retrospect? I have secrets. Yeah, there's gonna be something coming out. Let me say, there's gonna be something coming out. Broken mirrors. I cannot make it up. This person did this because they found some stuff out and they got some information. Okay. What have you learned now in retrospect? What can we take away from this reading for your lessons? Right now. Right now. Stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than be handled each moment. Yeah, absolutely. the reason why he wasn't divinely protected from infiltration from these energies is because he had these future, not that you can't plan for the future, but if you base everything around, when I get this, then I'm going to be happy. When I become this, then I'll be happy. When I get funded, whoever funds my nonprofit organization is the side that I'll choose, that I'll be a part of. Like when you think like that, you separate yourself from God. There is no separation. And so he sees now that if he would have just remained present and just been happy with each moment and just allowed what was meant for him to come, he would have been divinely protected from this energy. But because he had an ego and he was slightly abusing, using his gifts irresponsibly, not in the way that God intended them, it made him susceptible to the infiltration. And so that's one thing that he wants us to know, is that you'll get exactly what you're an energetic match for. So the only thing that we should be concerned about is finding alignment within ourselves, finding joy, what brings us joy now, not doing things for who's going to fund us in the future to make us the biggest platform, to make us the biggest influencer, but what brings us happiness now. And whatever's meant for me in this energy, I welcome. Whatever divine plans are unfolding for me, I welcome. And that's a way of us being present and appreciating where we're at now. When you start thinking too far ahead and you start getting a little drunk with power and there's a quote that I read that said, beware of leaders who thirst for power instead of, what was it? Instead of presence. Beware of leaders who thirst for power instead of presence. Because it tells you that they're hungry. And when somebody's hungry, that means that they're not fulfilled on the inside. And a leader who walks in their divine inheritance will be happy now, will be grateful for what they have now. Not, oh, well, I'll be satisfied when I get this. That's not being grateful for what you have. And so we want leaders that aren't. So what Charlie's saying is that that's what veered him off of the divine path that was set before him. But he's making his way back in that he has, he saw what was happening. He did something about it, even though it was like a huge step. There's something about him wanting us to know that it's about the moments. It's about each moment. It's not about being happy when I get this. It's about trusting the flow, trusting that what's unfolding is meant for you. Your stomach is talking to you. Mine? Can you hear my stomach? Oh, hungry, right. When you're hungry. Hungry, what does it mean? Please explain. She's talking about dead, like really. Well, metaphorically, what being hungry means, from what Spirit says, is that when you have a hunger for something, it puts you in like a chaser mentality. And what you're saying to God or to the universe is that you don't have everything you need right now. And once you step out of that energy of knowing that you have everything you need right now in this moment, it automatically puts you in a chaser mentality where you're determined to have a certain outcome, where you are reliant on a specific outcome to unfold for you to be satisfied. And it creates insatiability because you're constantly chasing something that, you already have within you. You already have it. Yes, absolutely. Good morning. You are talking to me today. Oh, hello. Hi, M. Reed. Good to see you. So I have extraordinary and loss. Oh, come through. Yes. So we did a reading with Rob Reiner in Fringe. Thank you, Spirit. We did a reading with Rob Reiner. And Spirit just said infringe. One of the laws of the universe is that you can't infringe on people's free will. And if that happens, if you gain material wealth or abundance by imposing your beliefs on people and infringing on their free will to choose what they want to believe in, which is what religion does, that's an infringement on people's free will. And with Rob Reiner, you can watch the reading, but just like quickly what we evaluated was that when you receive abundance in the energy of having infringed on people's free will, that has karmic consequences. But if you were to walk away from all of that abundance that you gained in that energy and start over again in new energy, if you aren't afraid to lose anything that you gained, no matter how extraordinary it is, and you are prepared and allowing yourself to start over and lose everything and start from square one in new energy, you will have extraordinary experiences. You will be walking in more of alignment because you're telling God that I realize that what I've gained in that energy is not what I needed. That's what I thought I needed, what my mind thought I needed to make me happy. But really what it did was it brought me people, places, and things that match that energy, that infringe on people's free will as well, that believe that abundance doesn't come unless we do this, and we won't have everything we need unless we do this. If you're willing to walk away from that and just cut that off completely and start over, you can get back into alignment, even though you have to start over and you have to start from square one. You will still have everything you need in that moment, and you will release all of those burdens that were gained in that energy of infringement. So that's an awesome lesson. And what I was saying about Rob Reiner was that he wasn't willing to do that. Everything that he gained was because he sacrificed a child to energies that infringe on people's free will, or he infringed on his child's free will to choose a certain path that the child didn't want. And instead of recognizing that and admitting that to himself and starting over, he couldn't let go of the celebrity. He couldn't let go of all the material wealth. And so he started to lose things because he wasn't willing to sacrifice what he sacrificed before. And so it kind of like went full circle, and he got what he gave. He was a victim of his own infringement of will. Okay. But if he was willing to just drop all of what he gained in that energy, all the people, places, and things that were attached to that energy, and start over, it would have been different. There would have been a different path he walked. So excellent. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. This was a 2-hour reading, you guys. I'm so sorry it was so long. I'm so sorry. I gotta go. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Good morning, Robin. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for such good energy. Lake Superior, Robin, Michael, Mayers. Thank you so much, you guys, for all of your love and support. I appreciate it. If unalived, if they want to use loopholes in God's cosmic laws in a really dark, weird way, we can do it in a divine, loving way. So I'm happy to bring the messages forward. I hope this gave you a little more awareness. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We love you so much. The Lord said to me, the prophets are prophesying in my name. I have not sent them or appointed them or spoken to them. I love that. Synchronicity. Absolutely. I love you guys so much. We'll see you next weekend, and we hope you have an awesome, awesome day. Bye, guys.